Hey guys, Dan here for Your Guitar Academy, and I'm here with Dion today.
Hey guys.
And we're down in the studio at the moment. We've just finished filming a full Tom Misch course. I say we have, Dion has, and it's sounding spectacular. And what we wanted to do is take a bit of time out to create a kind of all-encompassing video to give you some really cool tips in one video as to how you can start to sound like Tom Misch. Okay, and we're going to do this in 3 stages. First of all, we're going to create a basic melody. So we're going to do that in a second. Dion's going to create really simple pentatonic melody. Then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move to the teaching room, the official red room, and teach you kind of how we came about that melody, then how we can take that melody. Part 2 is how to take that melody and give it all the techniques and frills and spills to make it start to sound like Tom Misch. And then in part 3, we're then going to take that basic melody and develop it further. So actually start to then really feel like we're creating a whole part that Tom Misch might write, and we'll kind of jam that out. Okay, so first up, let's have a basic melody, Tom Misch. So we're kind of thinking pentatonics here. What have you got for us, Dion?
Okay, so I'm thinking we'll just stick to something in the key of C. So what about something like that? Or maybe the octave down.
Very sweet. Yeah, nice.
Let's go octave down for now, I reckon.
Octave down?
Yeah,
octave
cool.
down, okay.
So, yeah, I'd imagine it going like 1, 2, 3. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect start. Because what we've got is a simple melody, and it is simple. But all I feel like, and as we've developed this course, right, everything is based on simplicity. This simple sound, you know, catchy melodies that you can sing. All we've then got to do is make them come alive, right? Okay, so that's our kickoff. So we're going to take that melody, or even the lower octave as well. I'll show you through both. And I'm going to go over now into the red one. I'm going to show you guys how we play that and what pentatonic shapes we're using. All right, so the first step is just to simply break down where that melody came from. And in classic kind of Tom Misch style, it's very much just like a pentatonic melody, which we're then going to kind of work with. So we can then elaborate on that by using kind of major scales, minor scales, more notes, outside notes maybe, but fundamentally it's typically based in that pentatonic kind of scale. So this one that Dion just wrote is this, up the octave or down the octave. Okay, it's just simply using the C major pentatonic boxes. So for this low octave one, we're basically using kind of based around this kind of G-shaped chord of C. So if you think of your cage system, this is I call this box 1, right? The classic box that we all know and love, but of course we're rooting it around the major root note in this instance, okay? So that's where we're kind of starting that melody, all right? And then he moves over to this box shape 2. So again in C major, there's our C. This is our box shape 2. So when we go, this is literally kind of using that box 1 and box 2 in the key of C major, okay? And also equally up the octave, we kind of start in that box 2 and then move over to the 3rd box in C major. Okay. Now, it's well worth noting at this point that if you're unsure about any of these scale shapes, I'd highly recommend kind of doing that first. We've got great intermediate courses that will walk you through that exactly, and also a cage course where we kind of pin the cage chords, the major cage chords, to the pentatonics, which makes it easy to work in this kind of fashion. So that's the basic idea. So now when you play through that basic melody, so just pause the video, play through the basic melody, or if you're going to do the octave, you now know that we're using either box 1 and box 2 or box 2 and box 3 in the key of C major. So I'm going to hand you over to Dion now again so that he can take you now with this melody and understanding the kind of box shapes that we're using to now making it properly sound like Tom Misch.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. So let's have a look at how to take that basic melody using those basic boxes and let's Tom Misch-ize it, if there's such a phrase as that. If there isn't, I've just invented it. So here we go. So the phrase sounds something like this. So the first thing I want to really analyze is how it falls on the beat. Okay, so I've got a drum beat here at a fairly standard tempo. I just want to play this along to that and we can hear where it falls. So it comes in like 1, 2, 3, and 2 and 3 and a 4 E and 1. So it's kind of like a 16th note thing to start. You can add a bit of a swing to it. So remember, swung 16ths are going to be more like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and, as opposed to 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. It's a very, very straight feeling, as opposed to swung, which has a bit more of a bounce to it. So let's swing the start of that 16th, sorry, the start of the phrase. 3. Cool. So apart from that, I'm still playing it fairly straight. So there's nothing kind of crazy going on here. But what if I start making some of the notes more staccato? So staccato meaning cut the notes off and don't allow them to ring out for too long. So what about the first 2 notes? Or maybe even for the fact, let's do the first 3, like that. And then when we get to this one, let that one ring out. So that would give us so to make that staccato, all I'm doing is just as soon as I've picked the note, releasing the pressure on it. So you really cut it off like that. And you can hear it instantly sounds a bit groovier and a bit like more percussive, right? So let's try that with the drums. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. So it starts to sound a bit more groovy, right? So. Okay, so that's step 1. That's one thing we can do to instantly make it sound, breathe a bit more kind of musicality into it. But what about if we also introduce this idea of playing it lazily? So when I say lazily, I mean we want to sit behind the beat a bit. So almost play it like it's a bit late. So I'll show you what I mean. It sounds something like this. So really what that is, it's just you have to be kind of really consciously make a decision there. That's if this is new to you, but you have to kind of consciously make that decision to say, right, I'm almost going to play what feels like out of time, which it technically is, but it's stylistically, it's part of this style. It's what makes it sound so cool, this kind of whole neo-soul sort of vibe. So it's about playing behind the beat, meaning playing it a bit late. And then instantly that gives you kind of more of a Tom Misch sounding territory, okay? But in addition to that, we can also start bringing in some different dynamics with our picking. So what I like to do is do some of the upstrokes a bit harder than the downstrokes. And some of you see that last note's really quiet. And then again. So specifically there, that second note on that upstroke, I'm picking it really loudly. And then the last one really quiet because you get that kind of change in dynamic. So let's have a go at all 3 of those so far. So we've got staccato, we've got playing behind the beat, and we've got some more dynamic picking. All right, so. I went really quiet there. Talk about that in a second. So this act, to me, this act of making decisions to pick some notes louder and softer is what really gives the music that human quality to it and that real step up in musicality. That's what, to me, separates a guitarist from sounding great to sounding amazing. It's this kind of concept of your pick control and your dynamics. And that's covered a lot in the full course as well. So let's take this even further. You see in that little segment there, I did this little semitone slide. So that's another little thing. So that top note there, I'm just sliding from a semitone below. It's just that little subtle touch there. You can even do it there as well if you want. Yeah, so let's try that, hear that in context. There we go, nice. And then also you can do that kind of little like, it's like a little trill thing almost. It kind of sounds like, or functions in the same way as vibrato. And you see people like Tom Misch do it a lot. It's where you take one of the notes and you're kind of moving quickly up a semitone and then back again. And it's a really quick thing. So I would do it on that 5th fret of G. Little touch there that gives it another little bit of little interesting kind of quality. So let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And you want to cut the note off and slide out of it, okay? So 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah, it's just another nice little cool flourish that you can add. And obviously in addition to that, if you start adding in a bit of envelope filter, you're kind of instantly in that Tom Misch territory. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Obviously I'm adding in a couple more notes here. Let's try and stick to the melody. And again. There we go. So that's just a couple of little ideas there that you can take. It's more kind of concepts than techniques. And it's those things currently, you know, if you're not used to doing this stuff, you have to really consciously think about it when you do it. But the more you try this stuff, the more it just becomes kind of, you know, almost woven into the fabric of your playing, and you just start doing it without even thinking.
All right, so we're back in Studio B, and now what we're going to do is stage 3 of this Tom Misch challenge. And we're going to take that kind of the melody that now Dion has gone through with you guys and has made it sound a lot more Tom Misch, and we're going to make it sound even more by developing the phrase. Okay, so this is where we start to really make it sound like a song, because at this point we're going to bring in the chords. So I'm going to walk you through these chords that we're going to be playing, and actually taking that basic melody and developing a theme, really, that Dion will walk you through as we go through it. So first of all, we're going to be playing this kind of groove. So it's going to sound something like this. Now, we're not going to go into too much detail about the groove at this point, and I'm going to give you the basic idea of the chords, but if you do want more information as to how we get that sound as well in the chord side of it, then that's what this Tom Misch course that we're putting together is all about. So we'll have all of that information there. Now, what we're doing here is basically a 2-5-1 with a kind of altered chord that leads us back into the 2. So we've got a D minor 7, then we've got a G13, just like a D dominant chord. Then we've got a major 7, C major 7 or C major 9, but again just a 1 chord. And then we either go for this kind of diminished chord, which leads us back to the 2, or we go for this tritone substitution based around the kind of the A. Okay, so again, don't worry too much about that as theory-wise, but I'm just going to play it for you really simply once. So we've got a D minor 7. Then we've got a G7 or G13, a C major 7, a C sharp diminished 7, then a D minor 7, a G13, a C major 7, and that really cool sounding D sharp 9 chord or E flat 9 chord, which leads us back into that thing. So they're the chords that we're going to be working with. Right, so this is what we got so far. So if you play your melody as you've developed it so far, and I'll play those chords, and we'll just go around that a few times, and then you can start bringing more of the theme in. So ready?
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3.
just kind of using all that stuff that I've just been speaking about, the staccato notes, playing really behind the beat, little semitone slides, and also those little hammer-ons as well, they're really, really key. But when it comes to that, you obviously don't really want to be playing that for the whole tune because it can get a bit tiresome. So what about starting to develop some more ideas? So really great way of doing it is actually just moving the melody up the octave. So should we try that? So if I play it down the octave and then up the octave, one after the other, hear what it sounds like. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now up.
That's nice.
Okay, we can go even further. So we can start skewing the rhythm a bit more and adding in a couple of extra notes. So for instance, like, so I added a little passing note there. So that there was just kind of a classic blues move. That little flat 5 included there, and I'm still using that main melody as my bass, but I'm just feeling around
The scale shape.
the scale shape, exactly. But I never lose sight of that idea of that. That's my kind of, skeleton almost.
Yeah.
So let's also kick on the envelope. Let's grab that over there. So
The envelope filter's on now.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3.
Oh my.
There we go. Yes.
I can barely concentrate on the chords.
See, again, just still within that. Being really lazy with the rhythm. Now up the octave, let's go.
That delayed playing of the...
Exactly, I'm really waiting. See, really late there. I mean, I wasn't, if I was playing that right on the beat, just doesn't sound as cool as if I go. Just letting it be really lazy and really behind the beat. That is such an important thing when playing in this Tom Misch style. But really, all I'm doing is, visualizing that scale and building some simple melodies around what we already have. Using some of those little blue notes. And being very percussive, almost thinking rhythmically as opposed to melodically sometimes as well. So let's go back to the melody. See that? Being again just simple notes, but I was thinking, Dan, bum, bum, I was just thinking of these little rhythms in my head that really help. Make this super lyrical, which is what Tom Misch is all about.
For sure.
So in a nutshell, really what I'm thinking, I'm never ever losing sight of that melody.
No.
It's always about the melody.
That's there.
But I'm just using some additional notes. Not all of the additional notes, but some of the notes within that minor scale shape.
And keeping that real solid concept that it's phrased melodically.
Exactly.
It's never just like...
No, not at all, not at all. And there's also a lot of space still.
Exactly.
It's very effective, as I said earlier, with moving up the octave as well, because that just gives it a bit of a lift. But all these little things, they're all very kind of subtle nuances that can just make such a difference.
Massively.
Especially the rhythm thing. Like the rhythm thing is huge. When you start going really lazy, it's instantly that's cool,
That's massive.
That's
and
cool.
guys, if you've got an envelope filter knocking around or some kind of amplitude or some software like that, chuck that on and that's like the icing on the cake, right?
Absolutely.
That's massive.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have some extra fun with you guys now and give you a chance to kind of have a jam with us. So I'm going to lay down those chords. Again, all I can do is listen to Dion at the moment. It's very distracting trying to play those chords. But I'm going to play those chords. Dion's going to do a 4-bar phrase, kind of do it with a little bit of, as you were doing. And then take a break, and then he's going to join me on the rim, and you guys can have a bit of fun. So pick up your guitar and do this with us, right? So when he stops, I want you guys to bring in that melody. However you've got set up at home, just try and bring in the melody, and try and then do a little bit of improvisation yourself, and then Dion will pick it back up. And we'll do that a few times round just to have a bit of fun with this,
Cool.
right?
Yeah, so we're doing 4 bars each then? So
Let's just do, for 4 bars and then just...
Or one repeat each, I guess. Just
One
let
repeat.
it kind of go around the chord progression a couple
Yeah.
Cool.
And then
All
you
right.
just count out, and you can count yourself back in if you like,
Fine.
that kind of thing.
Fine.
Let's try. Let's see what happens. So, here comes that groove again. 1, 2, 3.
Cool, now you go for it. Now I'll come back. And maybe repeat that again. And now you'll go. And now me again. Yeah, super simple that one. And now you.
Deadly grooves. Let's do one more.
And again. Nice.
Okay, cool. Now we'll bring it in now. How do we end this?
And then a big.
The ultimate ending of, oh, nice. Love that.
Yeah.
There we go. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. Honestly, that was fun.
Yeah.
That's some good grooves.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. So there it is. There's how to play like Tom Misch. Remember, if you love this stuff and you want to go into more detail with everything, then Dion's your man. Come along and check out that full course at yourguitaracademy.com.